Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sins of a Solar Empire 2 Action. I'm your host, Karaslegacy, as we move into Game 3 of this Best of 3 series for the 4 Power 2 Balance tournament. This is round 4, the final round of the tournament, and as the various teams vie for their final standings, the action heats up as we go into match point of this final series. It's been an excellent series so far. A lot of back and forth, a lot of taking and destroying of home worlds, a lot of retaking them. And now to finish it off, we have a special treat today. It's actually going to be a 3-on-3 game played on Foreign Invasion. We haven't gotten to see this map too much since the early parts of the tournament. One of the claims of fame of Foreign Invasion is it does have wormholes on this map, though frankly wormholes, because they are a tier 3 tech, often don't come into play in a lot of these games. And while we might see that as we get into the later stages of the game, that'll probably be something that would only happen after kind of a lot of action in the middle. Now, the more interesting note about this is the resources on the map for each player's side is relatively light, save this one key Terran world right here. It is relatively undefended compared to a lot of Terran worlds in the middle of the map. So this is going to be a world that's very easy to take, and likely the Terran will want to take that on. But we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. Why don't I go ahead and introduce the players here and get the ball rolling. On the north side, we have playing for Team Panda. No, I apologize. Team the Bankstreet Boys. Got my teams confused here. We have Navio playing as the yellow Vasari. We have Crime Skin, who we've not seen yet, representing the orange Vasari. And then we have Dosit, our purple Advent, returning to show us all the will of the Unity. On the south side, we have the pink TEC Fruitwing. We have the red Advent Phoenix. And we have the teal Vasari Storm God. Alright, so all the members are here, ready for this full-scale grudge match. And to finish off what I was saying earlier about this Terran world, the fact that Fruitwing here has opted to go TEC, whereas there is no TEC player on the north side for Bankstreet Boys, it could be a factor. I mean, the fact that the TEC can secure double their home world effectively and utilize that pretty early in the game might be a key factor here. But it looks like the Bankstreet Boys are potentially opting for some early aggression here. Aggression has been kind of their namesake so far in this series, so this is not terribly surprising here. We do see Navio pushing, securing this moon quickly and easily. Let's see what we have for Navio here. We do have, looks like he will have turrets available for possible defense. We do see the Desolator Opener, which has been a mainstay for Navio throughout this series. Historically, he has followed it up with the third cap, a Marauder or Carrier, so we'll see if he continues that trend as well on this map. All right, now it looks like Crime Skin is opting to push with him. So Crime Skin is not going to fortify the middle as you might sometimes see in a 3v3, but it looks like we are getting a 2v push further down the south. Meanwhile, their ally Dosit, is Dosit going to push as well? Let's see. We do see a Rapture opening for Dosit. Normal Disciples, yeah, this is just the basic Rapture opening. Again, we have seen this from Dosit a few times so far. Nothing too crazy on the influence side. And yeah, we do see it looks like a gearing up to push south, but at the same time, we do see Storm God pushing from the north. Looks like they're going to be ships passing in the night here as the two cross through phase space. All right. we do see, it looks like Bankstreet Boys have secured the derelicts that are in this system. Note, this is one of the new systems that was introduced in this patch. Hazardous, this magnetic storm can reduce speed, or specifically acceleration, but it does offer a boost to ship experience. And the fact that this is so close to Fruitwing's homeworld here, could we see some actual action in one of these systems? We really haven't yet. These systems have always been kind of skipped over by players, but could this be the first? We will see. All right, so it does look like Docet is working on. He's going to snipe and secure some of these worlds here, kind of stealing them away from Storm God, while Storm God's been forced to pull back. It looks like Storm God is just going to wait it out here. He realizes that kind of chasing the Advent, or the Rapture especially, which is a pretty fast ship, is just not worth his time. Meaning that the Advent is going to secure this world, and that's going to be an economic advantage for them to start the game. Now, one key difference we are seeing here: Phoenix is opting not so much for aggressive support, at least not initially, but is going in more of an eco role. And that's a term you may hear me say throughout the cast, so let me explain it for some of you newer players. When you start getting into 3v3 and higher scenarios, players start taking on oftentimes more specialized roles. And in a 3v3, you'll often hear called the aggro or edge players, which are the two players on the outside, and then the eco player, which is the one in the middle. And in a 3v3, you generally see the eco player perform one of kind of two key functions. Either they act as what is called the support player, or they act as a pure eco player. What you're seeing on the north side from Bankstreet Boys is the support style. So this is where Crimeskin has opted not really to build the economy of the back end. He's not taking a lot of these worlds. He has joined his ally, and they are moving together as in an aggressive assault. Whereas Phoenix is operating more in the traditional eco style. He is filling these worlds, he's backfilling them, and he's probably going to start feeding some resources to his allies to keep them humming. So what style will win out here, we'll have to watch and see. All right, now, we do see this push is moving to its fruition as the two are going for the throat. Fruitwing has no defenses on his homeworld, as he is now taking damage from 3 Visari capitals and a handful of skirmishers. And for the 4th capital about to join, that's a decent amount of siege power, and should give him the ability to really put pressure on Fruitwing's homeworld here. Now, on the response, we do see... All right, it does look like Storm God is starting to move into Conrack play. Yep, and we already see about 22 Conracks online. It's a pretty good number. No capitals, so this is purely a Conrack focused pursuit, which against Advent players is pretty common. So that makes a lot of sense. And we do see, Docet is kind of sharking around here with his Rapture, trying to be annoying. Probably is not going to be able to do any more damage. And then there's a question mark: is this Rapture going to be able to get out all right with the heavy fire from these Conracks? Meanwhile, looking back here, it looks like we do see these forces slightly stalled out by Fruitwing has returned with some freebooters and his coal, but there's still not a lot. There's not a lot of activity here, and especially with a Desolator, the Desolator is going to take out this coal lickety split. So Fruitwing is in trouble here. He needs to respect. There are 3 capitals bombarding his coal, and 1 very hungry Desolator. This goal is going to get got in short order, and the gravity warhead has been activated. It has surrounded the coal, slowing it down, and with that, in very short order, Fruitwing's coal is completely destroyed. And with that, Fruitwing's homeworld is now at half health, and unless there is a miracle play here, and I'm not seeing any forces moving towards that homeworld, I think that homeworld is likely going to die. Meanwhile, we see it looks like Docet has just kind of been bouncing. Yeah, he's been bouncing his Rapture back and forth, trying to to buy some time, save it from the Conrax. Yeah, get its shields restored again. So the Rapture is pretty healthy here, and should be able to take. Yep, is able to kind of keep pulling back from these Conrax forces. This is an area where Advent actually kind of excel at because of their shields. They can take a lot of burst damage on the shields, and then while they run, those shields can get a chance to regen and heal back up. So that can be a very good play for Advent. We do see, yep, looks like Shield Burst is coming online here shortly. He might need it, as it looks like Storm God is not giving up the chase, and Docet is going to likely going to continue to run here, as Phoenix is finally showing his teeth, deciding to pressure into the north. Checking on the top side real quick, we do notice a number of worlds are still untaken by Bankstreet boys, especially their Terran world. So as much economic damage has been done to Panda in the south side, we cannot dismiss that some of these worlds still have not been taken, and that may lead to an economic slowdown here in the mid game. Let's actually take a look at Panda real quick and see how they're looking. Fruit Wings at around 250 supply has brought a Sova online. We haven't seen a lot of Sovas in the tournament so far, so that's always nice to see. And of course that classic double Mazda, excellent for its stun, and then just the freebooter. So Fruit Wing again got pretty beat up earlier in the game, and still struggling to kind of reproduce. And it looks like this Sova was built to die, as it has given its life to try and buy a little bit of time, but that time was not enough, and Fruit Wing's homeworld has been sniped. Phoenix made a 304 fleet supply. He has a Halcyon carrier online and bringing in the mothership. Halcyon's an excellent capital if it gets a chance to level a bit, and can often creep through pretty quickly. So Phoenix might use that to augment and do a little pressure here. We are seeing actually a pretty aggressive push to T3 civilian technology. And again, this is something you'll often see from your eco players in a 3v3. Their job is often to get into the eco techs, to build up resources, and oftentimes especially exotic resources. Usually the building of exotics often falls to the eco player, and it's their job to keep their allies supplied with the exotics they need for capitals, and then maybe even titans if the game continues to go that long. But will the game go that long? That's a big question mark, as we can see here Navio is continuing to apply pressure. He has killed the homeworld of Fruit Wing, and now is just kind of carving up Fruit Wing's planets and territory here. We do see, all right, Phoenix is making a bit of a run at the top here. He's going to be dealing with a near equal fleet supply, Rapture plus Tempest as well, versus his own Radiant. But boom, starting off the bat, he immediately takes Plasma Nova into the face. That is a big swing. A lot of these disciples are going to take a huge amount of damage here, and they cannot avoid it. That's the thing about the Plasma Nova. It is a sticky effect. Once you take the AoE damage, there is no escaping it. These disciples, all the disciples have taken a good amount of damage on their shields. And with the Tempest coming to bombard them, you may see a big hit in these Tempest numbers here shortly. But it looks like they have managed to escape with most of their numbers intact. But with that hit, Phoenix's momentum is completely shattered, and he is going to be forced to run here. While taking bombardment from a large amount of Tempest, this Radiant could be in some trouble if it does not find a way to escape quickly. Meanwhile, while Phoenix has pulled out to apply pressure, his secondary world is now under assault. We see the siege force here. Navio is pushing on this world, and we do have Storm God in the near area, and it looks like Storm God is going to attempt to reinforce. But the siege damage is extensive and fast, and I do not believe they are going to be able to secure this world. This world is not going to be able to be saved in time. So unless Navio makes a key mistake right here and decides to blow off the world, there it is. The other big world for Phoenix has been taken out, and with that, Panda takes another big loss. But Storm God's going to try to make something of this. He has a large Conrec force, about 44, very respectable, good enough to really start applying pressure to his capital ships. And a 3 capital Visari with no subcaps is definitely not the play you want against Mass Conrac. Navio looks like he's going to pull out. We should note there that we do have a Marauder online, but we actually don't have any other abilities other than Phase Out Hall 1. So really needs to get some points in there, especially likely in Distort Gravity. The extra speed could be really useful in these chase scenarios. So we can see Panda is in really bad shape right now. Each of them only holding on to a smattering of worlds. We have, between the 3 of them, let's take a look. Yeah, Fruitwing is effectively out of the game. Looks like, yeah, it looks like we have basically no forces for Fruitwing. He is desperately sending this Protev into the darkness, trying to secure another world for himself. And oh, that poor Protev. It has been found, it has been sharked, but it may not be targeted. It may be able to escape from this. Come on, little Protev. And, oh, it's so close. And I think that was Phoenix's absolute last, or sorry, Fruitwing's absolute last hurrah. Fruitwing has no forces and minimum 2 planets, and really nothing to assist his allies with. Phoenix has got 400 supply, just a couple capitals, and then his Tempest. Storm God's the only one with a truly active force right now, and it's just Conrax. Now, Conrax are very powerful, but when you're dealing with this many Conrax, they are counterable. And with Storm God being the only real credible threat on the Panda side, there is a risk that Bankstreet boys will start rechanging their comps to counter the Conrax. And at that point, Panda really does not have any forces that are able to hold up. Switching over to the Bankstreet boys, we've got Dosit 450 fleet supply. He has got his Guardians online now. And with 60 Tempests, the Tempests are going to be a lot tankier now. And between the Guardians and Tempest will be a decent force against the Conrax. They will actually be able to start competing with these Conrax decently well. Crime Skin also at 490, maintaining just the 2 capitals and a large contingent of skirmishers. So focus on skirmishers over Conrax or even defensors. Then Navio is the weakest of the 2. He's kind of been beat up a bit, but still at 250 supply, but does have a 4 capital play at this point. So what Navio lacks in fleet supply, he makes up for in raw capital power. And we can see all the capitals starting to level here. That's just a wonderfully beautiful combo of ships. Yeah, these 4 Visari capitals can take on more than their weight in enemy fleet. Let me go ahead and speed the game up just a touch as we kind of move into this mid game here. Take a look at the text. We can see that Navio is starting to move into Destructors, probably just start cleaning house on some of the enemy worlds, while he's just kind of working in the background here, killing what he can. Phoenix is trying to chase, but is likely not going to have much luck there. Crime Skin has opted finally to get into Tier 2. He's been a bit behind on that. Also looking to go into Destructors. So nothing fancy on the tech side there. Influence-wise, just picking up nanites for more planet acquisitions. And again, just focusing on those skirmisher play. Dosit's been the most active with his tech, 2-2. But we still are seeing... and now, just now, getting Anima Redirection for his Tempest. So that's quite a bit late. All right, we finally have a real battle here to look at, as the contingent of 30 skirmishers and four capitals go to work here. Yeah, I think Phoenix is going to be in trouble here. Yeah, these the Tempests are not in large enough numbers to really threaten these skirmishers. And these skirmishers are going to be able to start sniping these Tempests down. Sorry, capitals are going to be able to just play around in this area without losing much in the way of health. Yeah, Phoenix has to get out of here. This is very dangerous, and these skirmishers are quick. Yep, Gravity Warhead is active, slowing down the speed, preventing the ability to phase jump out. Phoenix is going to take a large amount of damage onto this Halcyon. Is he going to be able to get it out? The Gravity Warhead lasts quite a bit of time, but the armor's holding decently well. Looks like he'll probably go to crippled, but he likely will have a chance to get out of here. That Gravity Warhead lasted a very, very long time, and we're going down to the wire here as the phase jump has been reactivated. Blast continue. He is going to go down to about half crippled, but it looks like, and actually he did not actually manage to phase jump out. Instead, opted for a recall. He had to recall out in order to save that radiance, but save it he did. With looked like, maybe a few hundred health lasting at the very end. All right, battle up here. We have Docet battling looks like the very, very weak forces of Storm God here. This meager amount of Conrax is going to be no match for this large Tempest contingent. They could do a little bit of work on this Rapture, but he's smartly pulling this away. Big mistake a lot of Advent players make in this kind of matchup, Tempest versus Conrax. Your Tempests with Micro are going to do just fine versus Conrax, but what a lot of Tempests or a lot of Advents make the mistake of is they keep their capital ship around and let it get pounded on by the Conrax. Just run it. You don't need the capital ship in this kind of engagement. The Tempest here are more than enough to deal with these Conrax, especially with Guardians to add extra tankiness. So just run your capital, beat up the Conrax with your remaining Tempest forces, and then bring back the capital when everything is safe and sound. So that's a big tip for a lot of you Advent players out there. It's a very common mistake that Advent players make. They bum rush with their entire fleet, including their capital ship, run headfirst into a big ball of Conrax, and then wonder why all their capitals die. Again, I know people get used to wanting capitals in every battle, but when your Tempests are that strong, no need for them. All right, we see Navio has returned for more blood, as Fruitwing was able to restore his homeworld, at least in brief. But it looks like Navio is called in the lease, and I don't think Fruitwing has the payment. We're going to go ahead and speed things up again as... Alright, we see Storm God kind of maintaining his Conrac forces. Looks like they are holding up against about 550 supply from Docet. Yeah, like I said, in this current matchup, Docet's got the edge. But he doesn't really have to press it either. His allies are perfectly capable of just kicking everything in the backyard here. So if Docet, all he manages to do is just kind of hold this position, prevent Storm God from doing any kind of active harassment or actually hitting their backyard, Bankstreet Boys is going to be more than happy with that. All right, we do see Fruitwing's homeworld has been sniped once again. And now Crimeskin, who before just kind of had a smattering of forces, has now managed to build up about 50 skirmishers along with his 3 capital ships. And those ships will do a good amount of damage. Phoenix on the backside has about 30 Tempest and his Halcyon. Not enough to compete with these forces. And likely Phoenix's homeworld is going to be under threat here shortly. Taking a quick look at our tech, we can see Docet is continuing to actually get some economic techs, but mostly just some basic technologies. Got up to 700 fleet supply. Still maintaining, and he does have just the 1 Rapture, but it is, of course, the level 6 Rapture. And with Malice at his disposal, Docet is absolutely ready to play. That said, yeah, one thing Docet might need to be a little careful of here. So, this kind of position is very forward facing. Now, if he's paying attention, and it looks like Storm God is pulling back, but if Storm God had managed to push his fleet forward into this position, and Docet was distracted by something or just wasn't looking at the right time, those Conracks would be right in range of that Rapture and would literally snipe it almost instantly. So now it looks like this was because Docet might have been positioning for a push, and it looks like he is. But that is one of those ways that's how you lose a game when you're winning. When you have those nice defenses and you're just kind of biding your time, waiting to see what happens. No reason to keep your critical capital ship right in the middle of the enemy or the edge of the enemy zone when they have a huge amount of Conracks. Yeah, it's just one of those risk points you don't need to take. All right, we're going to slow it back down as we see the two forces engage. All right, now Phoenix and Storm God have amassed a pretty solid fleet supply here. We do see about 1,100 versus the mere about 5-ish of the Bankstreet boys, but the Bankstreet boys are wisely pulling back. They know they don't need to linger around here. Delay is their friend, time is their buddy, and they're happy to just kind of continue to pull back. Now, it looks like there are some Tempests that are following, but against this large contingent of forces, and oh boy, there is that wonderful large ball of skirmishers. And they would go to work. This is a nice little force, but I think Bankstreet Boys looks like they're pondering maintaining position here. They do have some defenses here. They do have some fortifications. They're now bumped up with the combination of their forces, now up to about 900 fleet supply. Likely they can hold this pretty well, but they do have to be careful against these two forces combined. But we see a smart play here. It looks like Docet has engaged the force. He's splitting Panda apart here. We see that Panda is now pulling their forces north to deal with Docet, allowing the allies to move in and start wrecking shop on Phoenix's homeworld. Phoenix is one of the few homeworlds that has not gotten fully wrecked here this game, although it's certainly taken its share of lumps. Do see a decent little defense force here, but against this many capitals, and quite frankly, this amount of skirmishers, 60 skirmishers will actually kill structures pretty quick. So I think they're going to be able to take this out in pretty fast notice here. So now here's the question. What is Storm God going to do? Storm God going to just say, screw it, let's push forward, let's try to make something happen? Or are they going to pull back, try to defend? Now, this could be a nasty trap. We have the Rapture position here. It has Malice online. If Storm God decides, and Storm God is pushed, we're going to slow this baby down because this could be a big moment. All right, we have the Tempest set up. We have the Rapture in play. All right, Plasma Nova is activated, already doing area damage. Malice has been activated. We have Plasma Nova online, we have Malice online, we have Tempest, and let's watch those contract numbers because those contract numbers may start going down pretty fast. That said, while the Rapture has been included, it is 100 contracts versus some of these Raptures, and if these Raptures get targeted, they may get sniped out really fast. All right, we start to see the missile damage starting to take its toll, and there it is. We start seeing the contract numbers going heavily down, already down in the 70s and dropping fast. Contract numbers are almost, they're already cut in near half from that one Malice play. All right, it does look like Malice has ended, but the damage has been done. Now, the level 6, it might try to escape here, but with this many contracts, they should be able to snipe it out before it's able to run. That said, they're not. Okay, here's the targeting, and there it is. Okay, so the level 6 did pay a heavy price, but this is exactly what the Malice was for. 50 contracts killed in the blink of an eye, and now with the Tempest numbers over 80, these contracts are dead. Now, I do think Now, if Dosset wants to be perfect here, might want to consider pulling these capital ships out, or at least, maybe jumping them past the fleet here. 60 Conrax is still very scary. No reason to keep his capitals here. These Tempests are absolutely everything you need to deal with these forces. The only risk that Dosset has here is that his capitals get sniped by the remaining Conrax. So, best play here, just jump them out. Let the rest of your forces do work. And in that case, Storm God literally is not going to be able to do anything. See, we see Dosset has been a little slow in the draw here. He waited too long, and he is paying the piper for... Yep. Big mistake there from Dosset. Really was not necessary. Could have easily kept his capitals alive. But at the end of the day, it's probably not going to matter. The Conrax have still got shredded by the Tempest. And ultimately, Dosset does not have to secure a massive victory here. Just keeping these forces thinned down and weakened is all that is really necessary to ensure his team maintains their lead. All right, we're just gonna take a quick look around. All right, we do see the siege of Phoenix's homeworld. Looks like that's gonna go down. So let's maintain our action here on the battle. The mothership is also looking like it might try to jump out. Do we still have... Okay, we don't have any stuns here, so the mothership will be able to get out. Now, we do see... Now, with Phoenix's forces reinforcing over here on Storm God, they've finally taken the edge in this battle, and we can see Dosset has now pulled out. All right, so where does that put us? Dosset at 820 fleet supply, still maintaining near 100 Tempest, but has lost the level 6 Rapture. He is dealing with Phoenix's about 615 supply. Does still have that Halcyon that got beaten up earlier, but it's still around, and dealing with about 70 Tempest. So no slouch from Phoenix. Storm God is still he's lost his wonderful 100 Conrax he had before, but he's still up to 70 with his egg. Yeah, absolutely respectable forces here. All right, so we do see Dosset. Looks like Dosset's pulling a bounce back maneuver here. For those of you who don't know, when I call the bounce back maneuver, it's when a force will often phase jump between two systems to buy themselves time. It gives them time to replenish cooldowns, to regenerate shields, to heal. When you're in situations where you're trying to buy time, or you're trying to wait for an active force, or potentially trying to split two allied forces from attacking you at once, by kind of jumping back and forth, you often get a chance to do a lot of chaos with the enemy forces that way. Now, up top, we do see Dosset has gotten some culture. Welcome to C for the Advent. Actually, let's take a look at that. Yeah, so we actually do have 3 culture bases online. So yeah, that's going to spread nice far and wide, and looks like we already see that Bankstreet Boys is already enjoying the benefits of that culture across the meat of their systems. We'll go ahead and go back to normal speed here as the fight is now kind of disengaged. All right, looks like Navio and Grimeskin have made it all the way around. They have beaten out Phoenix's homeworld system, and it looks like the... Okay, this actually might be a problem, and this might be a mistake by Dosset. Dosset is holding against these defenses, and his back's going to be turned because it does look like... Yep, there we go. We do see Storm God now pushing in with these forces. A lot of defenses here. Dosset's taking a lot of damage on this mothership, and the Conrax are about to come in. This mothership has got to get the heck out of Dodge. It is going to be close, and it is able to pull out. Yeah, a little bit of a mistake by Dosset there. Realistically, could have just kind of waited for his partners to... Frankly, if his partners had just joined him in the homeworld, they probably would have been able to smack this fleet down entirely. But it looks like they're going for a different strategy. Dosen is keeping the two forces busy, while his allies are just wrecking shop with these remaining worlds, clearing out the defenses, knocking out the worlds, basically taking out the last vestiges of resistance here. Now, ultimately, it looks like Panda is pretty much out of this game, but as this is the final game in the series, it's understandable that they're going to fight tooth and nail for every chance they can get at a victory here. All right, looks like Storm God has realized he's come in too far against too many forces and is now pulling back. However, that has been a bit miscoordinated with his ally Phoenix, and now Phoenix is going to take a beating against all of these Tempest. And with that final battle, it looks like the GG has been called, and with that, the Bankstreet boys will succeed, taking 2-1 in the series and completing their standing in the tournament. We'll have to see how the other games finalize before we know kind of how their final standing pans off. But we'll be definitely giving you updates on the main tournament board as those games finish up and as the stats come in. So an exciting series. I hope you all greatly enjoyed it. With that, it looks like before we tune out just now, it looks like it looks like the sides have decided to enjoy one final battle to send off Panda in this tournament. But yeah, as we see Tempest on Tempest violence, the game will end, and I think we can call it here. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, hope you enjoyed this series. My name was Karaslegacy. Thank you for attending, and we'll see you next time.